honestly, I'm not gonna waste too much time and whatnot. I'm just gonna make some coffee right now. I'll just get into it. So, yeah. I'll see you when some word count pumps out. I got some schoolwork to do. I got a little more screenwriting, though maybe I can do that tomorrow and then focus on editing today before I leave because I'm going to my girlfriend's place. So, yeah, lots to do. I'll just see you then. Okay, so we're starting at 186K. So I'll show you right here. So we got it. Not bad. It's kind of crazy that we're at almost 850,000 characters excluding spaces. So it's literally only. Oh, I guess I tap the space bar on top of every other key a million times now. 1,044,222 times. Obviously more than that, but like approximately. And then characters excluding spaces, 849K. That's a lot of just this. A million. It goes to show like a million is a lot more than you think, or a little less, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel like I did this a million times, but I did. That's pretty insane. And now imagine a billion, man. 1,000 times, like that times 1,000. And yeah, I could actually technically get to a billion in my lifetime. Probably when I'm like 60, 70. I can maybe get to a billion. But I'm gonna do this over and over again for many years, including like several times a year. Well, maybe not books this big, but I like the teddy. There you go. Drinking from the pool of sustenance. Then our coffee grinder broke, so I had to crush them like in the ancient times, bro. I had that like bamboo bowl with the little thing. And it turned out like shit. It's the most watery coffee I've ever had, but I think it's just because I didn't make enough. And then I put too much water in. And I didn't want to add more because I already washed the bamboo. And like the bamboo, it's like when it's all moist, like things stick to it and it's harder to wash. So like it's yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna get to work now. This I'm on scene 3, which is like a little short scene in between the next big one, I believe. Yeah. I might even finish this chapter today if I'm ahead. Then chapter 27, man, that's crazy. Dude, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, there's gonna be another fight scene coming up. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of writing fight scenes anymore because as cool as it looks in my head and as interesting as it could be reading it, it's a little tedious to figure out everything and connect it in a way that makes sense and isn't just filler, and leads to an outcome which you want but makes sense. Like it's I definitely I prefer the I prefer like I like stakes but different kinds of action perhaps, and dialogue. That's where it's at. Like that's the real life shit, you know. Things happen with words more often, and words have really no meaning. That's the whole thing with like words, bro. Like conflict in real life just arises from words usually. Just words. It's hardly even like actually overstepping any physical boundaries, although that does happen often, but usually it's just words. We get so offended by words. Like, I mean, I do too, but then I realize like this is just a word. But there's the meaning behind it, the connotation, the kind of the at the end of the day, every word there's the ground to it because it can result in violence, right? Give me a second, I'm being called. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, it's like or the implication is always there of violence. And that's why I like dialogue, because there's always the hidden threat of violence. And that actually ups the stakes, because if there's too much violence, you get desensitized to it. The kind of the same way the reader, like if you read a super, super violent book, it really doesn't matter at a certain point. Like, it could always be there in the background, but if it's always in the foreground, like in your face, gore and blood and just violence and like fighting, war, if you don't have time to brood over it and like just process it while there's, you know, decent breaks between it, then yeah, it gets too much. So I think dialogue is where it's really at in terms of tension and like conflict. Just, and just characters often like bringing up stuff from the past, like because people do that so often in real life. They always want to win a conversation over memory, which is the most fickle kind of like measure of wrongdoing. That's why like witnesses are usually actually not that even great in like court. So this is something you can add to the conflict of the story. So that's definitely, yeah, yeah. It's just conflict in real life, man. Like it's just the inspiration behind everything, right? Like you could be inspired by other fiction, but dude, there's nothing better and more ridiculous than conflict from real life. Nothing more ridiculous. For some reason, as humans, we're the most retarded things ever. Like we always come up, doesn't matter who, bro. You, me, like the dumbest things on earth. We're the smartest and the dumbest things on earth. Um, and I think that's what I like reflecting in dialogue, because there's sense behind it, but at the end of the day, really, there's no sense at all. It's senseless suffering. It's all self-imposed. And what is that? Is it a quote by Plato or Aristotle or Socrates? Like, it's usually those three that like have all these like philosophical quotes. But one of them, or was it Epictetus? Epictetus? One of the Stoics. Maybe it was Marcus Aurelius. I don't even know. I don't even know. I have like meditations right here, but the quote was like, "We suffer more in our minds than reality." It's like, keep that in mind when you're writing, man, because your character, you can make them suffer in reality, but that's when it's true injustice. That's when it's true injustice, and you want your characters to suffer more in reality than in mind, because they actually become annoying when they suffer more in mind than in reality. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. If you want a good horror novel, that's actually the opposite. I feel like you want the main character to sometimes like to be likable, but or dislikable. Honestly, I find like a dislikable horror protagonist, like it makes it more eerie, makes it more uncomfortable. And then if they're like super privileged and they suffer in, like, this is actually a kind of concept for a horror novel I want to write. It's this insufferable main character who honestly makes it so much worse. Um, Also based off of, like, last night I was talking about how my screenplay is based off of John McAfee's life, just somewhat loosely, but my horror novel, oof, I don't even want to talk about it because it's such a good premise and such an uncomfortable premise. But yeah, it's a character who suffers completely in their mind and not at all in reality. And it's also I also kind of want them to be an unreliable narrator, which would make it even more uncomfortable and hard to dissect, because the characters around him would constantly be the reasonable ones, but he would see them as completely unreasonable, and he's like this god emperor type of like person, like I can do no wrong. And then he kind of loses it over time because his psyche is constantly self-serving, but like in the worst way possible, where like he thinks he's correct, but it makes his life so much worse. So that's yeah, man, that's conflict right there. Like conflict's the catalyst to everything. in story. Without conflict, you have just a vignette, like a slice of life moment, where that's also enjoyable. Like, don't get me wrong, but conflict is what really like either makes you laugh, makes you cry, makes you angry, makes you sympathize. So yeah, that's the big one. You want that at like a 70% usually. In most good stories, I notice like in an estimate, 70. It's the conflict at a constant 70%. It's always something looming in the background, even if it's not immediately there. But yeah, yeah. I'll get to writing now. I'll get the short scene out of the way, and then I'll get the chapter done. Hopefully, the conflict is at like a good 70%, going into like a good 80 to 85. Next chapter, it's like at a 90 to 100%. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be awful. And I hate to do it to my characters, especially my main. You know, he doesn't deserve it, but you know, I can't have him have a happy life. You know, we got to make it interesting for us. I'll see you later. Okay, I'm working out. See, I got the vest on, the weighted vest. It's like 14 kilograms. I don't know how much it is in pounds, but I got the weight over there, or the what is it called again? The fucking how you measure your weight, bro? I forget. Whatever, I got the weight thing over there, and yeah, 14 kilograms on me. So I've just been doing some push-ups now, just to get ready, warm up. So I did a little bit of cardio earlier by like doing some jumping and whatnot, different like leg stuff. Ooh, now I'm just gonna do leg day, and some back because they're connected. Yesterday, didn't get very much done because like I was busy with everything else on earth. So yeah, I'm just get to my work. Still in the midst of it, but I thought it looks kind of fun. But yeah, I'll see you later. My head hurts. 1,384 words. Fuck, I'll just show you. God damn it. I'm pissed off now. I'm pissed off. I don't get. I mean, listen, I should be happy. I got over 1,000, right? But at the same time, this only kind of puts my average down, and my average is already fickle, very close to 1,667. So like, I could be doing worse, but I could be doing better. And I have a headache, so I can't keep going like this because it's actually so hard to write. And I've been staring at a computer screen the whole day, and I haven't even had time to do everything I wanted to, man. There just ain't enough hours in the day. There just ain't enough hours in the day. But almost at 188K, so that's nice at least. Gonna cross that tomorrow, honestly, because I'm at almost 1,400 words. I'll have to do another 250 tomorrow, so that was 1,800. Let's try to get to 1,850. That would be a decent goal. I'm a little tired, and I gotta drive soon, so yeah, it is how it is. Another day, another dollar. So, you know, day 20 ain't the worst in the world. I've had lower days, so there's that. But yeah, I'll just go to sleep early because gotta wake up early tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. I'm heading back like anyway, so yeah, some stuff could wait. I can use the PC later, but that's all. Day 20 is over. I'll just see you tomorrow.